following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
If you've ever been to a casino, no matter how big or how small, you know that there's a lot to take in. The sights, the sound, the music, just the overall atmosphere. It is something that is really something you have to experience in order to know just exactly how it's going to make you feel. And it's going to, in a way, be how we're going to be feeling during the course of this brand new tournament. This is T4 Jackpot June here for the 2025 MRE Uno Division 1 tournament. And what a season, what a year of parity it has been. It has led us to our first matchup of this tournament in the Spades region. Who thought we would see in round one Nam versus Bad Brad? But that's exactly what we have here this afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in as we set up here for our first matchup. And this is kind of how we got to this point. Take a look at this matchup preview. Both these individuals so far here in the three previous tournaments here in 2025 have only advanced out of the round of 64 once each. Look at the resumes coming in here though. 2024 T4, a runner-up finish. He advanced to the finals, did Nam. Brad, of course, a tournament winner back in 2024 during Aquatic April, I should say.
Seth, it's Captain. That's
it's
the wrong
Captain.
graphic.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is the wrong graphic. Okay, my apologies on that.
That's not you. That sounds short. You're good. Don't worry
Okay,
about it.
so yeah, so Captain. But still, regardless, a former tournament winner there as well. I mean, these guys have an incredible resume coming into this, but 2025, it's just not worked out for them. You take a look here at the individual statistics coming in. Look at Nam, 2-3. He had trouble back in March Madness. Couldn't advance out of the first round against Goldie. Most recently in Movie May, eliminated by William Brock. Had a great run back during Automotive April, though, as he advanced up into the round of 16 before eventually being eliminated by the guy who would go on to win said tournament in G-Man. We flipped the script over to Captain. He was great back in March Madness, got up there into the round of 8, but back-to-back tournaments in April and May that he's been eliminated in the round of 64. These are two individuals that really want to get something going here in Jackpot June, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to do so. The bad news is only one is going to be able to move on. You take a look here in the Spades region. We've got a couple of games here today, including Nam and Captain. Later on tonight at 9, Charles Sanford taking in Austin Rogers. And then tomorrow, you've got 1:30 in the afternoon, Ed, the 3 seed, taking on Brian. And then at 10 p.m., late night action as Diego Yepez takes on Eric Monaco. What a setup we have here today. You heard him there just moments ago. KT joining me alongside. We got Yoshi as our ref. And, you know, a couple of interesting storylines coming into this one. First, looking at Captain coming into this here, KT. I saw in the preliminary notes coming into this one, Captain tried something a little bit different back in Movie May. Tried something a little bit outside of what we're used to him. He's used to those low card counts, but he tried something a little bit different. It didn't seem to work out for him. And then for Nam, of course, we talk about the fact that, you know, both of these individuals, they've only advanced out of the round of 64 once here in these three previous series in 2025. What's got to be the mindset for these guys? Is it a period of reset here in this particular Jackpot June, or is it going back to what we know? Where are we at with these two? Because these are guys that we would normally expect to see when we advance closer towards maybe the round of 16 or round of 8 matching up against each other.
Well, Seth, this is the first iteration of welcome to the playoffs, because that's where we're at. Winners in trouble. Winners in good standing, keeps it going. Losers in trouble. That's how a playoff game is, and that's where we're at. But this should have been the playoff game in Super League 24. It should have been it. If Nam would have beaten JT, these guys would have faced off in the E8. It was very close. So this is almost a lost file match we never got. I look about Captain. This is the perfect tournament for him. We talk about Aquatic April, Captain the set. This is perfect, though. Cap is a low-tier merchant. The only difference here is he's the better ranked player today, 25th coming into the Super League standing. Nam's not ranked, but Nam's the better C at home. You got to do a little bit of some rolling of the dice. I think it's what I expect for Cap. For Nam, it's about composure. Nam has to take every game knowing this is Cap. If you don't win at home, he's going to win his games on the low stuff. And it's a game of cat and mouse. I think for both these guys, they know they're not having the seasons where they want. You look at Cap at this point last year, he was high flying, man. He had basically everything he wanted. He had his 8 or 9 wins, I'm pretty sure at this point. Went for 8 or 9, locked in with the tournament win. Nam was a little bit different. He was more in the mid-pack, around 5-6, but he made a Final Four and actually got to the finale in this tournament 1 year ago. Something's got to give. I'm not sure what to expect. I'll take the Cap side, which will be the road team. You'll take the Nam side at home for the questions, but I think the one thing I'm looking for in this game, knowing this is the first stream of the game of the round, we've seen all the metas now. We're starting to get more familiar with this platform, with regulation, with the new bot. What have you learned in those first 3 tournaments? Because this is Moving Day. That's the Moving Day tournament. We saw earlier today Ard lost. Right, there's always that 0-win guy can make a run, 1-win guy. These guys don't have 0 or 1. This is a 2 versus 3. It's an ultimate playoff game, and they both have been in the playoffs before. Someone's going to be able to run their season a little bit more. Well, someone's going to take a hard hit today. Who's it going to be? I'm looking forward to it. We'll go down to questions, and you got Nam's side. Take care of it, Seth.
So, Nam, obviously, we mentioned about the fact you had a great run back in T2 in Automotive April, made it to the round of 16, eventually lost to the tournament winner, and you're coming here 1 year removed from 2024, finishing runner-up here in this tournament. Does that give you a little bit of extra confidence coming here into T4? And then, of course, as KT alluded to as well, how much pressure are you putting on yourself here with these 2 first home games to establish against Cap, knowing that more than likely we're going to go to those lower card starts when we get to games 3 and 4?
Well, Cap, it's simple. You tried some 15, 14. You tried some of the upper tier stuff. Maybe it was an experiment. The experimentation games are gone. You've played Nam in other leagues. You've seen his style before. This time you're playing him in this league, first round game. Big lurking on the side, potentially with either Yepez or Monaco coming up. How do you control your emotions knowing this is your first playoff game since last year, which was Super League 24 against old JT? And that's the thing, Seth. It's playoff season. We're into the heart of June. I know last year we were in the heart of July, but that was a completely different thing. We were off on the schedule. This year we got the more concrete schedule. Come 2 months from now, we're going to determine who's going to make Super League. We don't have much time left in the season. It's go time. And these guys are going to step on the pedal for sure.
No, exactly. To your point, we've crossed the halfway threshold, right? We're in the home stretch now. Every game, not only every series, but every game is going to matter in terms of, as you said, for Super League. And something I got to wonder here, too, is we're waiting for the respective answers to our questions here. Mentioned about the run that Cap had. That was back in T1. Nam had his run back in T2. Both were eliminated in the round of 64 in T3. So, a little bit of a longer off-season, if you will, for them between T3 and T4. With that being said, do we see either or both of these guys come out firing, get hot right out of the gate, or do you think we're going to have to be in a little bit of a simmer here before we eventually get to the full boil?
I'll answer that in a second. Go ahead and read that. It's a long one.
So Nam says he knows Captain is going to go on the low tide, so he'll be putting a lot of pressure to win every game at home as for T4 last year. Not too much of a believer in past tournaments predicting the future. Just have to come in and put everything on the table, see what happens just to crack the round of 64. And I think a big reason kind of for that there, KT, is we've talked about it back in, I think we drove it home to death in T2. We talked a lot about it in T3, the evolution of this Division 1. Everybody has gotten better. They've been able to really match up well where you go into a statistical on paper matchup, somebody looks to be the favorite, and it could be completely the opposite when the series is over.
Well, Knobs, hold on a second, we got another answer. It won't be easy to keep my emotions in check. Now I'm a sweet person, but I'll do my best. Being a lower seed means there's less pressure on me, so it might actually work in my favor. And you talk about December. Every time we have a cap stream set, it's two things. One, quick, fast, and easy. That's it. It's how he plays. There's not a game that's over 5 minutes, and you wonder if the recipe actually is, as he said, not being the home team. He can steal one on the road. If he steals one on the road and he goes to that 5 to 8, which he loves, that's a dangerous precedent. I think Nam has to think, if I don't win these 2 home games, snap of the finger, it can get away from me quick. And I think he has to think on the offense today, play his game, don't go crazy with it with ammo control at the wazoo, and start over adjusting. We've seen timing be everything on this bot. I'm excited, man. This is going to be a great playoff game. They both have resumes. We're just in the mid-pack now, and they look to make a run. Everything's got a recipe for a great game. I'm ready. I think both guys are ready, too, and I'm interested to see if Nam will try to go 9. We know 9 is in his back pocket, but with Cap, it's so risky to even try that because 5 to 8 is his home. So that's my initial pregame. I think it's gonna be a quick simmer today. I don't think it'll be a slow simmer. They both also play very fast, from what I know.
Well, let's get this first game of T4 here in Jackpot June underway. Yoshi's our referee, so we'll send it down to him, see what Nam's gonna have for this first call.
All right, now what do we got, buddy? Game 1, on the line. These guys looking set. There he goes. He makes the call. Well, look at the stats of this game. Both guys have a lot of career wins. Nam is a good old 13-time winner. Cap 15-time winner. Regular 28 wins between them. Average of 14. Something's going to have to happen. As we started off with the G+2, begin the tournament on stream. Steven 6.
Yep, gonna just run with that yellow here, and we mention the word all the time, momentum. Just how much momentum is there here in this first game? You mentioned how it's kind of a must-win here for Nam on the homestand to establish against Cap eventually when he gets his homestand at Game 3. But if you're Cap, do you treat this maybe as a must-win Game 1 as well, to be able to have that at least 1-0 or at least maybe 1-1, 2-0 going into your homestand here?
I don't know right here, Seth, but look at this.
Wow.
Strip 6s to start. That's aggressive, and now Cap's going to run with the 0 sugar. And Nam, all he can do is draw. We know Nam is comfortable in Draw City more than, let's say, Cap. And you can tell right now Cap is running quick. And there's the draw back to red. There's the shuffle.
That was actually a quad 6 if you count in the initial card there as well. We wrapped right around from the yellow 6 to the second yellow 6.
Rare 3-color game here, Seth.
Yeah.
Cap goes to blue. So they're both deficient on yellow for Nam, respectively, and red for Cap as they continue to go to the blue. Quick pace. You can see it's firing fast in the Andy.
So it's definitely looking like the green is going to be that Pandora's box we're looking for currently.
Cap, nothing. Nam gets it back. Red on red. Low ammo so far. Here comes Captain. He'll go to the green for Pandora's and a Yepez.
Now I'm going to run with it as well. Oop.
You're good. No, battle. Aramonic. There are some card changes I'll discuss. Aramonico moves back to the red 7 overnight after his +4. Dark back into it.
Talk about rapid fire. Yeah, both of them just little thought into terms of what they're going to play. And is that an ISO?
First, well, either an ISO or first cheat check. And let's see what Cap will do as we go to the K2. Our first action card. Trying to catch back on the other game here that we just saw earlier this morning, and it appears that, we didn't see many +4s in a while. That's not much, so we'll see if that continues.
The reason why I'm thinking this might have been an ISO is because, so there, Oh, wow! What the heck?
Trips wild?
Wow!
How about that?
So the reason why I thought that this might be an ISO is because Nam actually swapped off of the blue earlier, so I'm not sure why he would go back to the blue if not to try and ice Cap out. And that is quite a power play there. Oh, wait, hold the phone, though.
No, not gonna matter. Not gonna matter. He'll be able to get that all
Yeah,
cleaned.
how
Yep,
about
there we
this?
go.
Look at the wilds coming out here in maybe the second third of this game, maybe the home stretch. Who knows at this point in time?
Oh, great
Answer
ISO. That's
back.
not Nom classic. This Cap having 3 into Andy. That's a classic end around. He does though.
He
It is his own card.
Wow. So okay. So casino. Know when to hold him. Know when to fold him. They've
Oh,
been holding. It looks like.
no one at Texas hold him on that one. That's big right here because did Cap pull a stunner with the Blues? Did Shaq? No, but he did have extra in the tank. Now I'm going to jump the red. This gives
Over
Cap a
back.
chance to get the 2.
Yeah.
And
Opens the
Allen.
door up.
Big play from Nom. Is this what Cap needs for the finisher?
Seen some pretty good
Is it a
ammo
top
play
deck
here. Yes,
Wow.
it is. Look at that. Trips play with the dueling +2s to end out in green.
All right. Well, we'll have to go to the Nom on that one, Seth. You're going to ask me a question. I think we're going to ask about that quick pace, no thought. That's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, Nom definitely looked like he kind of played there into the Cap wheelhouse of the rapid fire pace. Had to answer back on that +4. You hit with the double reverses to get it back to blue, but then you open up the door there in red. Was that to try and find a path for yourself, or were you trying to search for another ISO color since he apparently had blue in reserve when you tried going back to that color?
I'm going to go to Cap. Cap, intriguingly enough, you saved some of the blue. You decided to go for the switch. You drew a little bit. Were you more comfortable on Draw City knowing that, hey, 14 cards, might as well test a little bit of that lady luck, and then you were able to run that +4 save? Talk me through it. Go ahead, buddy. Seth, you want to answer that? Go ahead.
Nom says he was trying to forge a path, leaned into the fast play style, tried to get somewhere, but Captain had him beat. So more of trying to get to the end than trying to play the defense ISO against Cap there, at least here in this first game. And a lot of times that's kind of the mentality, right? In the first game, you play more on the offense than on the defense, because if you play in that first game on the defense, you're probably gonna box yourself in at some point, and kind of in retrospect think, why didn't I try to be a little bit more aggressive? So you go down that 1-0, but at least you know that you were on the offensive, and so you don't feel quite as much as a mentally at a deficit heading into the second game.
Yeah, I agree. It is a case of game one fewer, game one offense, and the only difference here is these guys were not playing slow. They were just going fast to the whip, and you look at why Nom maybe went to red. I thought of 2 things, because Cap had flushed over to the green, so he thinking, there's no way he got red. But in Cap, he used that first wild, and almost that ISO wild back to green. And then if you're thinking you're Nom, I'm in the money, right? He just flushed his +4. That's got to be game. But Cap was able to hold back those green +2s on that last camo progression, and it did a good camouflage look to get Nom off his game. Nom's got to be careful of that. Just because Cap switches off a color, he can also be creative. Remember, he had just done 15-14 in the past, but it must be different for him when he's at 15-14 on the road versus at home, where if you're making that first progression at road, you could be that second progression, especially in a 4-minute or less game for sure.
Yeah, interesting too in terms of the ammo distribution. We saw the trips wild there with Nom trying to go back to the blue for the ISO. Only the 1 wild +4, and we didn't see those +2s played until the very end there. As far as cards self-drawn, only 2 for Nom and 3 for Cap. So pretty much what they had there in this game was what they were given on the initial 14-card start.
Should be an interesting one for both. I think both guys have warmed up to the idea, I think, of fast pace today. It's going to be a drawdown fight. We'll see how they continue to roll, because there comes a point where you wonder if your captain too, especially as he's typing it out, if he's going to be the guy to get. There we go. I was planning to say those wilds for the AM after not play 2 odds around. A feeling he had a chain coming, so I played the same. Where you almost wonder with Cap, if he stole one right here and he does go to that 5-6 special, does that put pressure on Nom to use ammo up early? When you see the scoreboard, you're down. I've noticed with this bot, especially on those lower card starts, you want to use ammo early, and it forces the opponent to potentially drain it out because you get in a desperation mode. How does Nom control desperation mode down 1-0? And as for Cap, if he can continue to play those calculated aggressive moves, it could be enough to get to the end, because he's definitely using some of those aggression moves, letting Nom burn out ammo early, for sure.
Yeah, I've got a thought here on Cap, but I'll get to it here as we'll get this second game underway here. Another Nom homestand here for game 2, looking to draw it back even 1-1. So see what Nom's going to go with here.
Freeboard Nam has plenty of options here, and we know he's not going to keep. Yeah, he's got to keep it upper tier, Seth. You just cannot risk an 8 or a 9 when you know Cap is really good in that start. As we go to the plan 5, start us off.
So going back to captain there with that first opening hand, and granted we don't know exactly what the 3 cards were that he ended up drawing, but let's speculate that most of his ammunition cards were on the initial 14 card start. The +4, the wild, and of course the couple of +2s he had to close it out. The ammo distribution was obviously very much so in his favor, and we talked about back in T3 how he kind of changed things up and went more to the upper tier, and it didn't work out in his favor. Obviously, we're going to expect to see him going down to that lower card tier here more than likely in games 3, game 4 on his first couple of homestands, but with a 14 card start and having as much ammo as he did, does that maybe open up the opportunity that he might think about going into the upper tier region at some point?
He could. Once you start to get a feel for a certain thing, as we go to the yellow 5 and switch to the Stingray, you start to get a feel for it. It's like grip, man. We know we're a racer. Obviously, we're in the casino. We'll have some more casino references soon, but it's grip. Certain players have really good grip. They can be able to find certain things on the upper tier, and certain guys have things on the lower tier. But when you start to cross into the cross path of I'm a lower tier player and get into the upper tier, it makes you dangerous. It's hard to talk about because they're flipping back and forth. Holy cannoli. Look at this.
Yeah, well, like a casino reference, it's more like people are a lot more comfortable with a 2-card start in Texas Hold'em poker, but other would love to start in the 5-card draw.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. That's a perfect reference. Both guys are just going full send. There's no room for error for these boys. These guys are not thinking, right, it's all full gas, full beans, quick switches. It's, once again, Cap goes back to yellow. It's basically trying to get... Yeah, it's trying to get Nam off his game. Think, hey, what's that last progression? And you wonder for Cap if he's pulling some William Brock, because this reminds me a lot of William Brock, what he does, and Nam's had trouble with William Brock in the past, for sure.
Little double play there from Cap. Yeah, you talk about William Brock. That's actually who eliminated him back in T3 in that round of 64. So, yeah, kind of maybe a little deja vu, a little trip 7. Ooh, that's something you'd like to hit at a slot machine, at a casino.
You don't want to hit that 7-2 in poker, but a slot machine 7 will just be fine. As we go double up into the 4-8, as there comes Nam +2. We know he's known for these chains to finish games. Let's see if this is one of those. Called it! That's it!
Oh my gosh!
There's the read. Yeah, you saw that coming. And this is what Nam does best, and he had to have that one, Seth. And well, you got to ask him that.
3 +2s, 2 reverses. We call that a full house in the casino world. My gosh, what a way to end off the second game here. You mentioned KT. We're going to not have any lengthy games, it seems, here. Is that one just a little under 2.5 minutes? Nam, great finish for you here. You draw it back 1-1. You know, you talked back at the end of that first game about kind of playing into that fast pace there for Cap, but did you just have that comfortability here with what you had on the initial draw that you knew you probably had the advantage and just tried to find your path there to those reverses or those +2s for the finish?
For Cap, I have to assume in this kind of situation here in this game, you were, I want to say a little bit limited maybe, but did you decide to make that blue progression because you had no cards in terms of ammo? Or did you just have maybe a 1+4 kicker and decide to go switch crazy to maybe get a steal on a power play? I'm not sure. Because usually when you have these all numbers, you usually only have 2 options. One, there's only 1 action card in the back pocket, and you got to go for the aggression at the end with the light switch at the beginning. Or 2, you just straight were nothing and we're fighting a little tooth in the other. What do you got?
And I'm saying, yep, went full throttle, switched whenever he could, cleared all the numbers, got it in the end. So pretty much looks like plan A right there, KT, right out of the gate. Just, that number efficiency, get the numbers out, and then just chain together that ammo to complete the entire game.
This has been a weird low ammo game, and it's weird because there's only been 1+4. We've had more +2s, but the reverse and skip meta has been shut out.
Yeah. 4-0 advantage there for Nam on the reverse. There's only 1 skip played here in these first 2 games.
Numbers at 1 skip. So that is not that's the case. Then Cap maximized the game because you go as far as you could. In fact, ironically, if he doesn't do that 1 draw off, what did he do? What did he do that draw? Maybe that 1 green draw. Cap, if you had maybe an extra green or 2, could you have possibly finished it off? Because those green draws actually maybe gave you 2 extra cards that were unwanted. Will that make a difference? Those 2 draws, maybe say you had a plan A game of numbers, and you were able to beat him to the punch if he was saving. Or was it a case of you just time time was not on your side there and you're delaying the inevitable. Let me know there. That's the only thing I could think of there, Seth. If he maximized that game as quick as he could, then maybe those 2 green draws were the only thing I could think of that maybe held him up and could have stole one against Nam, because if Nam was saving to the end, which we know he does for those long runs. But regardless, I think it was a case of Nam had the end. Patience paid off in that one.
Yeah,
Sure.
because you kind of look at it here too. Those 3+2s, no matter what color he went in, specifically into that green that you were talking about, he would have still gotten drawn back with the offensive card that Nam had. So, whether he would have had a path to victory or not, potentially, but I feel like there would have been too many offensive cards on the other side to draw him back away from that path.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Too many on the other side, and I think for Cap, it's not the worst thing because, as we said, it was more of a must-win for Nam.
Yes.
If you're Cap, you got the next 2 at home, and that's the killer. You know what's coming. And for Nam, you have to almost think of this and say, okay, I also know what's coming, and now I have to figure out how to adjust and adapt. And I probably could have won if Nam had only never... Oh, yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See, that's it, Seth. Power play. Right there, if he doesn't pull that chain, that's a power play coming.
Exactly. Especially knowing, as you said, having those 2 homestands coming up as well. We don't normally see the power play played this early on, but there are some that know with the situation coming up that are willing to pull out the power play in the very early going of these series.
Yeah, no, great play there from Cap to at least get it down to there, but good from Nam to pull on the throttle, because if you don't do that, this is 2-0, and even without the power play, Cap's just so lethal coming up, and that's the thing you got to worry about if you're Nam, because Cap ain't gonna run no 15 or 12. If he does that, I'd be in shock here, but we'll see what he does. Game 3, Cap, your call, no 14. What do we got, buddy? Yep, we're back to it. 6 cards, maybe saving that 5 and 7. Remember, he's gonna have to find a way to win on a 7 or an 8. That's also in his arsenal. As we started off with our green one.
So here's the interesting thing too, because when you talk about Cap and his lower card start, but then you also mention about the fact is there's a fire right out of the gate of a double play with the +2.
Oh man!
Wow! And even with that, ices out Nam. Like it kind of seems like it.
Hold the phone, Seth. Look at this.
Is this a finish already?
Oh, we might have to hold the phone. This
yeah.
No. Okay. Well, oh my gosh. Well, that's what I'm saying. Though, what do you do here? And this is the problem. If you switch the color, he might have it.
Yeah.
If you keep a yellow, he might have. You're damned if you do. It's so hard to read. You got to have an insane feel. But keep going.
This doesn't make sense because you talk about Cap being able to close out games real quickly, but with a low card start, the initial thought is draw city. So how do we not get to a lengthy draw city? How is he able to close out games so quickly with a low card start? That just kind of seems like 2 things that shouldn't go together.
Well, not going to make the risk to go to blue. This is what I'm saying. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Here we go. What's that one? Is this +4 to finish?
Let's see.
Cap loading up. This could be... That's it!
Oh my gosh, it is. Look at that.
Well, yeah. Nothing you could do.
No, nothing at all.
I got nothing. That 1 minute 11
Nam went
seconds.
over to the color he needed, but he just used the +4 there to be able to get that final blue 4. That's crazy. That is nuts. That doesn't make any sense to my Uno brain of a 6-card start. No drawbacks at all. You finish it out in less than a minute. Usually when we talk about 5 to maybe even 7, 8-card range, we're at some point going into a draw city. Nothing here.
Cap, Nam got really lucky winning that game too now, because think about this. If he doesn't win that game too, it could potentially have been 3-0. And at least he can take that positive, but this is Cap, man. This is classic Cap. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there when he had it with hockey, but this is the Cap I know. Yep, and this is how Cap does it, man. He plays this low tier and just knows how to run. And for Nam, he's going to have to find something because
I don't know how. I mean, I'm sitting here as a spectator and I'm perplexed. I can only imagine being on the other side of the table and seeing something like that happen with a 6-card start. What's got to be going through the mind right now with another Cap homestand coming up here? Yeah,
he's going to have to find something in Game 5. That's what I mean. At this point, Game 4, you got to just roll with the tides. But the tide's going to come back out, and you're going to start finding some other things in the sea. That's what he's got to do on Game 5. We'll see what he does here. Cap, no 6. That was quick. What do we got? Game 4. Yeah. That's
going to the 5. Man, okay. I would normally at this point say, all right, expect to draw a city, but after what we just saw there in Game 3, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Buckle up here. This could go quick. Into JT from Brad. Well, we saw, we're looking here at this Ard game, he did a 5, so who knows what we can expect. We've only seen it one other time today.
Now with the light switch there, over to green. Cap will run with it.
Double play from now. Okay.
All right. Yep. Establishes the possession at least there.
That's big. Oh, he
Oh, look at this.
That's big.
That's it.
But
wow, look at that.
What is that?
What an answer back.
34 seconds.
Just a little over. Man.
No comment. What do you say there?
That's what I can say is that's huge for Nam. That's a five card no draw on a homestand 5-card start that Cap called. That's like walking onto somebody's territory and saying, I'm staking my claim right here.
Staking your claim. That's going to the casino again, going a little bit more all in and saying, I'm done there. I'm going to cash out. I know when to cash out right there. I'm cashing out if I'm Nam.
It's like laying down a royal flush on somebody's full house. Gracious.
Oh, that's intense. How I just gave Captain a taste of it. Nothing else. So now the gloves are off.
Oh, yeah.
So can you make a comment like that? The gloves are off. Now I think Cap. No. But oh boy. Nam and Cap are gonna have little mind games going right here.
I mean, there's a fantasy thing that goes on, but there's no money involved. So I mean, I don't know if that is considered, kind of virtual gambling or something. I don't know.
It's a mind game, buddy. That's a mind game.
Does the league endorse love? Not in this series right now. It doesn't seem like this is.
No, we don't endorse it in this series. Hell no. You guys are putting on it. You guys are putting on a clinic right now of just low tier action. But like I said, there's no questions because now it comes down to the point where now Cap's got to adjust to the upper tier. Nam's not going to go back to a 6 or a 7. He's not going to dare do that. And it's going to matter for Cap for game number 6, especially when we get to that, because game 6, Cap's going to go low again, and the power play comes in because it's 2-2, and that's the key. The power play will now come into play as we'll go to this game 5. Let's get to it because there's not much else to say to this last game.
No, there really isn't. So Nam gets back at home, 2-2 tied series here. Nam's going to get the next 2 games at home. Or no, I'm sorry, correction. Nam's going to get this game at home, and then it goes to Cap for game 6. And I don't know about UKT, but I'm getting a feeling here. I kind of got the feeling after game 2 that we might be looking at using all of our 7 games in this series.
Yeah, that's what we said. CPU had said in 7. It's got the feel of it. You can see it. Both guys they're playing good, but a little bit of lady luck is happening right now. And that's what you expect with both these players. You got to have a little bit of lady luck in there for sure.
Hey, it's the same in the casino. You got to have a little bit of lady luck on your side. Some skill comes into play, but a lot of lady luck as well.
All right, let's get to it. Nam, your call, buddy. I just lost the game channel like a fool. Let me go find it. There we go. I'll make sure the scoreboard is good. Regardless, though, no 5 and 13. What do you got? I think here you're thinking 12-14 here, Seth. I think you'd... Yeah, all in.
Oh, how about that?
This is it. He's got it. But this is safe because he's thinking Cap may not have the best. Now I got a little momentum. Let's play it as we started off with the good old Lara skip.
Haven't seen many skips here in these first 4 games, so it makes at least a little appearance here at the start of game 5.
Yeah, there's a reason. In this game, there's low ammo, but there's only been 78 combined cards. It's been pretty low because we've had basically 2-minute game combined right there. 1 minute and 34 seconds. And that makes the game a little bit more cleaner. And there's Draw City right there early.
I mean, consider this. 4 games in, self-drawn cards, 13 combined between the 2 of them. That's crazy.
Yeah, Ghost into Peter, blue-red combo. Here's the 2 color. And there's the Pandora's technically open. My goodness.
We've seen quite a number of trip light switches here in these first 5 games now as well. I don't know. We're running that electric bill up here in the very early going of this tournament. I mean, come on. The casino needs its lights on all night long.
Man, we're going crazy. There's no clocks at the casino, so here we go. What is going on? Back to back with the yellow 4. Does Cap have a non-4 to ice him?
This is looking very similar to what we saw back in the first game. Just that full throttle, no brakes on both sides. Light switching.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
First hammer blow of the series right there from Captain. That's the first one. That's a hammer blow.
Quad play, now
17.
going to draw Nam back, as you said. 17 cards now.
Now, if I'm Nam, right here, you fire right. Yep, I'm just
There it
going to
is.
fire right back.
Yep, the
Tasting
return.
your own medicine. He said it back. Tasting. I'm going to fire right back, and now it's an even square game basically. Only cap up by 3, maybe 4.
I mean, this is a pendulum series, it seems. The back and forth here from the first 4 games, and now you're basically trying to establish the momentum here in this series now. This is a crucial Game 5. It really is on both sides because, who knows what's going to happen here in terms of Game 6 and maybe a Game 7. You want to establish the advantage right here, right now.
Big Game 5 here. Power play lurking. Both guys have thrown the gauntlet on +2s. What's it going to be for Cap?
I didn't even think of that power play. That's kind of just been kind of in the background of my mind with what we've seen here in these first 4 games. But you're right. That could be huge in terms of establishing that advantage as well.
Right now, it's in the top 4. Right now, you look at this. Blue and green are offset colors. Someone's saving that. I still think someone's saving that color. Yellow's going to be the backdoor color for the backdoor finish if we need it. But someone's going to have to maybe wind down a blue or green. Someone's saving one, I think.
Yep, I think you're right.
Who's going to be, though? That's the key.
The thing is, too, as well, we ended up having that double +2 from Cap. We had the double +2 answer back there from Nam. Some pretty good ammo used there. Is there anything in reserve for later on here?
There could be a reserve tank. Here comes Cap loading up again. This is a monster one, looks like. Oh, my goodness. There's the green. There it is. And the blue.
Ends it on the 0. Tough to swap off of that little double play answer back there, but yeah.
Cap, nothing he could do either, though. So he used everything. He juiced everything. This is what not, but he's going to go right back. Yep, there we go.
Okay, so ices them both out. Okay.
Yeah, it's a top deck city now. It's going to come down to who gets the toppers. And once again, Seth, low ammo on the +4s and wild. I know we had a couple, but we're not seeing that today, and it's a different type of game for sure.
Yeah, interesting there.
That's the second hammer blow from Cap with the +2s. And that's a great play from Nam. But does Cap have 5 efficiency?
Had to have been a top deck draw on that blue +2 if you were Cap.
Sure, surely.
Had to have been.
Absolutely. Here comes Cap. 5 efficiency. Power play. That's
power play. Does he have? So must have the number efficiency here to swap off of the 5.
Oh, my
no, goodness. He has the wild +4.
Nasty. That's nasty.
Brings it over to green. And probably has 2 greens to fish it out. Yup, indeed. The 0 into the 9.
Basement into the top, and that is a big win for Cap. We'll go to Nam first. You got to ask a question, because I think there's something he could have did different. That was the +2s, I'm thinking.
Yeah, Nam. I mean, obviously, we saw the answer back there with the double +2s to try and draw Cap back to hit you with the double +2s, but kind of the point that KT was just talking about there, it's you maybe play them a little bit too early, because getting down there towards the end, you maybe could utilize them to draw him back from the precipice of winning, take away that power play potentiality, or was it just the case of getting caught up in the fact that it was really just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth there for the first 2/3 of this game?
Cap, for you, this was a good little save play there, I think. But I got to ask, man, were you confident in those hammer blows with the +2 because you saw Nam just maybe stalling out on some of the colors? And do you think the initial get-go 2-color strat that you guys both pulled gave you that leverage to play creative on the back end? Because I think when you have, what was it? Did you have No, you just missed a rep. You basically had tri-color +2s. I feel at that point you were just able to play creatively. Is that a fair assessment? Because it really was a weird plan A workaround, more plan B with the back end draw city. That's all I got. And Seth, he says...
Just trying to buy time. He at least says he flushes out the power play, which is true. So now, has the power play in reserve to try and draw this series back even, or if he's able to not even need the power play in Game 6, potentially could then use it in that crucial Game 7. And something back there with Cap that I'm kind of wondering about too is how long was he holding on to that +4? Because I look back at a couple of scenarios there. He iced himself and Nam out when he did the trip reverse over to blue. Did he have the +4 then? And then we obviously saw him as well play the swap over with the double +2 with that top deck draw, we're assuming, with the blue +2 in order to do that. Did he have the +4 at that point in time too? How long was he holding on to that thing?
Yeah, Cap, was that off the start? Did you get a little topper? Was it in the ammo exchange? The +2 is the only thing I can think of there, Seth. If you're Nam, you almost wonder the moment you get to that initial green card. Do you think about it? Do you think it's a big gamble? Did you think about using those +2s to start and send Cap back to 20? That's the only thing I could have thought maybe could have did different. We had seen people when they just don't feel confident in the hand, they just send them back. And we saw Pat Johnson do that. We've seen Abion do that. We've seen many players do that, I'm pretty sure. They just say, I'm not confident in the hand, and just send them back early. Let's see. Interesting hand with a lot of reverse imp. Once again, I chose to play the save and use the +2. So where did the +4 come from? Was that off the +4 off the get-go or off the +4 off his +2s?
I go back
as an ammo exchange.
I go back to your point there, KT, about using the +2s off the get-go. We don't know if he necessarily have not had those +2s off the get-go. Those might have been the return on the double +2s hit that Cap hit him with.
Where'd you get those +2s now? Off the get-go, or was it a case of did you get an ammo return from Cap?
So Cap held that +4 from the very start of this. Wow.
And Nam as well had the +2s from the get-go. So
okay.
That was a case of ammo timing then.
Yep.
You know what? Maybe if you're Nam, if you feel in that situation, you just didn't have it. You didn't have anything else right now other than those +2s, really, other than the isolation play. I don't think you had. Yeah, you didn't have much. So yeah, I guess the only thing you could have did there is maybe hindsight, hit him with the +2s right there, force the ammo burr early. But that's the problem. Said we didn't play long. You go to the log, we haven't played long enough games to get a read.
We haven't.
And that's where Cap strives in that, because when you can't get a read on the game, you can't get a read on Cap, and you can't get a read on the commentary. And he was able to just flush it, and that's the thing. This is an uphill battle for Nam here, because this is going to be 2 games he needs desperately for his season, but also he needs to get the confidence back, and Cap is going to go low.
Yeah.
This is a big one here.
What do we talk about? Timing and patience all the time. How difficult is it to even have a sense of timing or a sense of patience when there's not a game that goes over 5 minutes in length? I mean, there's no time for patience, and there's no time to be able to establish a timing factor either.
We've had 25, 30 minutes of airtime and maybe 12 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
That's classic Cap. I mean, we talk about it. With Cap, more airtime than playtime, and we're going to figure it out right here. Cap, so far it's been playtime with the power play gone. No 15, 14, or 6. What are we doing here for your game number 6? Can't do 6. That's the only funny thing. Yep, there it is. Back to it.
Going back to that 5 with Nam winning game 4 on the 5. Cap able to call back to it here in the crucial game 6. But hey, give credit to Nam, because he's been in the trenches here today. It was down 1-0 after the first game, answered right back with a 13-card start, and then entered into Nam's home territory in game 4 and was able to have a 5-card start, no drawback. So
look at this. Look at this.
This is interesting. This is
what is this?
What in the heck?
What's going on?
There was a okay. Wow.
What did I just watch?
I don't know. I feel like my brain just hit rewind for a moment and then just replayed it again. We went from yellow 5 to green 5, back to yellow 5, back to green 5. And a 5-card start. Are you kidding me? There's
I'm not usually speechless, Seth, but I am kind of here because that's where I'm at right now at this. How do you, on a 5-card start, you're telling me that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 5s on a 5-carder?
Yeah.
2 apiece.
Yeah.
And Cap was able to make an initial gecko switch off that blue, and there was not a single blue. Yeah, there's not a single blue play.
I'll do you one better here, KT. 6 games into a series, we've had 2 5-card starts and a 6-card start, and the winners of all 3 of those have not drawn back.
Nam has no +4s played today. What is going on?
This is nuts. This is nuts. We said it had a Game 7 feeling right out of the gate. We are here. Oh my gracious.
Now Nam has got the advantage because
he's got the power
basically
play.
The high tier.
Yeah.
He's got the high tier and the power play. Oh my God.
This is nuts.
We can't get a read on this game. I don't know what's good. We always say the last game is the longest game. Now with these 2, this could be over in 5 minutes.
No. Absolutely could. Unbelievable here. I mean, this is literally, and this is not just words. This has been literally back and forth between these two. We've now got Game 7 coming up. Nam's got the advantage with the final homestand. He's got the power play. Cap's going to be playing from behind here a little bit going into this final Game 7. Again, kind of like how we were at the end of Game 5, or Game 4, I'm sorry. I don't have any questions.
Here's the mind games for Cap. Let's see. Nam, it's your call. Seth and I are probably going to be retiring from these small streams pretty soon, but
oh, gracious.
Regardless, my God, our brains can't handle it. You can't do just, and you still can't even just do 5 and 13, and we're going 12, yeah. So here we go. Will this end in 30 seconds? That's the bigger question. Is this a minute or less? That's the prop bet at this rate. Here we go.
Longest game we've had so far has been under 4.5 minutes in length.
Okay, so Yoshi said we started with a +2 in the first 2 games of this series so far. The first game, and we started with 6s as well twice. What is going on? We just started with the M6. What is going on today?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. I mean, like you said, we've spent more time here on this stream doing the preliminary stuff than actually calling the matchups themselves.
I can't think here.
Oh my goodness, we got another trip 7. Pull the crank.
And the poker again. No 2. Costa, I'm freezing out. What is going on? Here we go again.
The light's switching into the green.
Dude, it's like they had the same numbers, though. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is insane. I've never seen something like every game they've had the same numbers on upper tier. This is bizarre.
Yeah, in terms of the numbers, they've been pretty much even. In terms of the colors, they've been pretty much even. The ammo has been a little bit lopsided in a few of these games. That's only been really the major deciding factor, it seems.
You can't even blame them because 5-6 cards, that's what you expect.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here comes Cap. It's been one of the more even series we've ever seen on this bot. Let's see what he can do, despite not having no +4s. Cap with the monster run here.
Yeah, if you're
Holy
Cap right,
cannoli.
wow. Okay, so he's at 8 to start this run. He's going to continue here after the quad play.
Is this game?
Well, I mean, do you maybe try... There, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are you trying to flush out the power play defensively? And there it is.
Great call from Cap if that's the case. Nam's going to throw bad. We still got a series now. But that's it. Power plays are done. 11 square. Back to square one.
Absolutely needed that if you were Cap. You needed that power play flushed out. Now it's even Steven between these two.
Ridiculous series. We have seen some crazy... I think Cap flushed it out. He was taking his time. I don't think he had it finished.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's been so unpredictable. I'm not making a call on any of that right now.
Here comes the switching from Cap into Rogers to Brock. We still continuing that. I've had no time to look at any card history of these games. I've had no time to look at the stats.
Only in between games I've only been able to look at some card history. That's it.
This game has been +2s, 15 combined plus the rest of ammo has been juiced. There's been nothing. So that's the thing. It's a +2 game. It's weird. With switching. It's +2 in efficiency. That's the game. That's crazy.
So now we run in yellow. There's the swap over. So here's another thing, too. On Cap's side, you flushed out the power play. But on Nam's side, with the defensive power play, there was a lot of ammo that was used up in that run that Cap's not able to call back on now.
And he goes to green. Great call. I like that green call. And here's why, Seth. I like that green call because the +2 is limited in green. And yep, Cap's juice. That's big for Nam.
Yeah.
Humongous switch over. Now I've just changed the game right there. Triple play is going to go for the breaker into the Monaco 7 from the Goldie to Toasty reverses. Cap now on the defense.
Yep, opens it back up to the red now, though. But to your point now, 4 to 10 card advantage for Nam. Does Cap have any ammo still left in reserve to be able to call back on here? Used a lot of it there in what was a 5-bagger before the defensive power play was utilized.
Got to be one of the +4 plays. It just goes +2.
Got another one. Okay.
Yeah, that's juices the +2s, but it keeps them in the game. Now it's just 2 possessions. Keeps them in the game. Nam's got to figure something out here. Let's see. He'll keep it cool. Did Nam have nothing, too? Is that +2 a little bit rushed? You never know. Did Nam run out? Did he run out of red? And was hoping for some cards. Hard to read in this game.
Yeah.
There's a double up.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out there if that is the case.
What is that?
What?
What is that?
What? Question mark?
Is that a finish? Is he trying to do a heat check finish?
Is
and
that
flush caps +4?
maybe?
Called it. Yep, he's
Oh,
trying to flush the
wow.
+4.
Takes away the potential finish. I
Oh,
like it.
great play from Nam. That's next level if that's the case. But Cap can run the. Are you kidding me? And he's
And
out.
now Nom's iced out on the red.
Oh, but when he goes
Cap
back
gets it
yellow.
back to the yellow. What?
What is? What?
Oh, and then he gets it back.
Bro, that is insane. We just got back to 6-8, and he saved the +2 just like Cap.
What? I don't know. I don't know.
What is going on?
This is now we're in green.
I've never seen
Pandora's
something like
box
this.
has been open. Pandora's box has been open here down the home stretch now. Well,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
not.
Momentum has shifted 7,000 times, and they're draw
They're
sitting.
both iced out. They're both iced out. Okay.
Top
Little
deck.
top deck. Little
deck
top
over.
deck. Do we light switch or are we
No,
iced
no.
again?
Well, Nam, he'll open the opportunity if he needs to. It's Nam. He's up 2 possessions. He's going to go for the switch.
Back into the red again.
Wild. Here comes Cap. No +2s here. What's it going to be? Just a double. Nam for the win. Right here. Triple play to finish. Or is it the double? Here's the single.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Wow.
Craziest series of all. That's the craziest show I've ever seen.
That is nuts. That is nuts.
For a 17-man series, that last game had everything you wanted. I don't know where to begin.
Oxygen tanks for 2, please. I think we need to take a couple of
Holy
very
canoe.
deep breaths here. Good gracious.
Where do you even begin with a question?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, we'll start with Cap. Cap, did you have the finish up first up for 3? Yeah. Did you have the finish, buddy? Or were you trying to flush out that power play on defense?
Nom needs an oxygen tank as well.
This guy's 15 years old, man. He needs the oxygen tank.
Oh, gracious. I guess while we're waiting for Cap to answer that, I do have a question there for Nam. Is defensive power play? We're gonna find out if in the long run that was what kept Cap from closing out this series. But I want to go back to that one play where you played the red wild. Was that in the back of your mind to flush out that wild +4 to again take away a potential run to the finish there for Cap?
If that's the case, that's next level. That is
the thing that gets me, KT, is it happened so fast. How do you split-second decision something like that? It would take me a couple of minutes to strategize something like that. That was like instinctual play there by Nam.
This kid is. I said it. He's a phenom when he wants to be, and it's all about the mind. Nam is the type of player when he gets I figured that right. 1 turn away. My gosh. So. Yeah, the wild red. So you had it. Oh, so you did have a finish though. So it wasn't a next level flush.
Okay, wow. So it actually worked twofold in a way for him.
That's terrible. That's a brutal way to lose.
Oh wow.
The bot basically gave these boys the same hand.
Wait, so hold on. So okay, so this is what he had at the end. Okay, because I was gonna say if we go back to that run that he was on, I believe that the run ended with a blue +2. So there's your blue reverse into the yellow reverse into the wild to finish out in the blue.
86 cards, not one single +4 for Nam. And I think this, I know we had the lane game, which was probably more impressive because that was all over the board of best of 9. We had upper tier. The only reason why I think Nam had any chance to win with no +4, Seth, is because the games were so low on the starts.
Yes.
We played so quick, 5-6-5, and it comes, and I had this before Nam played a blue. That is awful. Wow, that is just no power play.
No, that's the thing, right? That's the difference maker.
In this league, it's all about power play management. What in the world is that? I have never seen 3 wild, Seth. Never. Not like that in a row.
No.
That is insane.
So he had the wilds, and what have been 2 +4s on Cap's side? Like, goodness. The silence is telling because we're just trying to process what the heck just happened.
Cap, I mean, Was there any thought? I mean, it'd be a back end thought, but the only thing I could think of, it'd be really stupid of me to ask this, but I might as well ask it. Was there any thought after you drew right here, abandon ship, use that last +4, and throw him back to the weeds? Because that's the only thing I could think of to try to get around this. Because I'm trying to genuinely figure out how you lost this game, but I can see where you're coming from. Because if you own most of the +4s in the series, you think, well, the other player doesn't have the +4s. The problem with this series, we never got a progression. We never got the reads on a game that went more than 10 minutes, and the series in itself, a third of the series was this last game. So in reality, the other games that went, a minute, 30 seconds, 29, 2 minutes, they were almost fluff for the commentators and the players. I don't know. It's a weird thing. We talk about set at the casino, there's no clocks. They were in this state, this flow state, but it was a weird flow state where they were just locked in. Yet we couldn't figure out what was going on because we didn't have enough data to figure out there was no meta. We've never seen a meta like this because there was no meta to be given. It was even. Both these guys had the similar hands. It came down to who was able to roll the dice at the end, which in this case, home team won, which was Nam, who had the last laugh. That's all I can think of. It's the best thing I can think of.
And again, I said this at the beginning, it's just so tough because both of these individuals, there was only going to be one winner and one loser, and both have had 2 tournaments so far here in 2025 where they haven't advanced out of the first round. Now this is going to be a third here for Cap, and this is the first game. This is the first game of Jackpot June, and you said it, KT. You set the table. You said this is a playoff type game, and we saw playoff type game caliber gameplay out of both of these individuals here in the series.
Well, I'll tell you, it was the second game. The first game was our DJ, but we don't have a schedule because Short didn't get it.
Right, so stream game, yes, I should say.
Yeah. First stream game. That was an upset, though. This one, I don't know where to begin because both these guys, Cap definitely needed this one because you look at his season. It's hard to believe, Seth. He's on a ridiculous losing streak. He hasn't won since March, but it's one thing I know about Cap, and there is one thing. He showed us here today that his low tier is still there, but now in the case of this, it really doesn't matter if you have it. It's luck. You can't fix luck on 5 to 8, and there's nothing you can do about that. For Nam, how he got out of that jam with no +4, the only reason why he won this, I didn't know he had 3 wilds. See, when you had 3 wilds, that's a whole different thing. You can make things. You can have no +4s but 3 wilds, and you can find a way to win with a +2. But that's enough. That's actually enough ammo because you can combat that, and there's not enough progression. We never got to a point where there was enough progressions for either player to make a read on it. It almost like we were waiting for that feeler game. We never got the feeler game, and that last game was the feeler game. Ultimately, Cap just tried, and he fell short on a brutal way to lose. I don't know. That's the best I can. I don't know what I just watched here. I need the OT.
No, I honestly don't know what I just watched either. I don't, put it this way, I'm not able to process what I just saw, but I know what I watched, and it was a heck of an opening first stream game here for Jackpot June. Incredible series here. Man, if this sets the tone for what we're going to be seeing here, continuing on here in T4, man, oh man, might have to have a few oxygen tanks on standby for us because it is going to be wild. Congratulations to Nam. He's going to be moving on. He'll be facing off against the winner of Yepez and Monaco. That'll be tomorrow night at 10. Later on here this evening at 9 here in the Spade region, you've got Charles Sanford taking on Austin Rogers. Winner of that faces off against the winner of Ed and Brian. That'll be tomorrow at 1:30. But incredible series here between Nam and Cap. Congratulations once again to Nam on moving on. We thank you all for tuning in. Thanks to Yoshi being our referee. KT, again, no words on what we just saw, but man, another classic one that we were able to call here together. Appreciate you joining me here on the commentary, and we thank everybody that tuned into our coverage, those that were here in our watch party that got to see this incredible opening matchup here in the Spades region. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Be sure to tune on in later on this afternoon as we've got another stream coming up at 4 o'clock, and be sure to just stay tuned for the entirety here of Jackpot June because it is going to be wild. Thanks all for tuning in here as we continue on T4 in Division 1 for the 2025 MRE Uno Tournament.
This has been a presentation of MRE Division 1.